This comes from Claire Lewis over at GameSpot. SAG-AFTRA's talks with the video games industry ends with no resolution. SAG-AFTRA announced on Thursday that its scheduled talks with various gaming industry employers ended quickly and without an agreement being formed. The meetings, which began on Tuesday, were undertaken with the goal of renegotiating the terms of the current interactive media agreement, specifically as it relates to pay, streaming rights, and use of artificial intelligence. After failing to reach an agreement, the following statement was posted to the union's website. SAG-AFTRA and video game employers concluded scheduled negotiations for the interactive media agreement. No deal was reached, and the current agreement will remain in effect while the parties make final efforts to reach a deal. SAG-AFTRA recently voted to authorize a strike against 10 major gaming industry juggernauts, with 98.32% of the union's 160,000 plus members voting in favor of the strike. If the aforementioned final efforts to reach a deal fail, a strike is almost certain to come next, impacting the following entertainment companies: Activision Productions, Blindlight, Disney Character Voices, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac Games, Take-Two Productions, VoiceWorks Productions, and WB Games. The news comes on the heels of the announcement that the Writers Guild of America strike has ended, with union members reaching a tentative agreement with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers after a 148-day strike. The WGA will soon vote to ratify the agreement. SAG-AFTRA's previous strike against gaming companies, which took place from 2016 to 2017, lasted 183 days. I don't remember that. That's a long time. Holy cow. As a result of that strike, certain games such as Life is Strange Before the Storm made use of non-union actors. And in that particular case, original Chloe actor Ashley Birch was only permitted to consult on the character rather than portray her game. So yeah, this is big news right now. This actually just came out today, if I remember, or I guess this article is from the 29th. So I take that back. It's not from today. It's from over the weekend, basically.
Right.
Kind of came out that, yeah, last week there was some talks. The vote had already gone through for a strike, and talks had started, and then, yeah, these companies were just like, nah, we're not going to budge. So,
it's unfortunate to hear, right? Like,
yeah,
you would think on the heels of all these strikes that have been going on, and now that we're seeing the successful fruits of them, that game companies will be like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get out in front of it, and we'll just, meet with them and come to a conclusion, and we can get everything going and keep it pushing. Nope. They would rather stretch this out just like they always, not like they always, but like every other, major entity is when they're going into negotiations with the little guy. And it's kind of disheartening to see. Like, you would think that the upper management or, the top brass at these companies would understand the condition. They do understand the conditions, and that's probably why, right? They know that people need these jobs, and
yeah,
they think that they can just push them around and do whatever they want. But I feel like they're about to find out that that's not the case. The one that shocks me the most out of the list of the companies that are involved in this is Insomniac. I really thought Insomniac was like a company that was really known for taking care of their employees, and the fact that they were on the board of people, in the group of people that were like, no, we're not gonna, get you the honor the agreements that you're putting on the table.
Yeah.
That was really disappointing. And if it comes down to it, if they start striking, I have no problem, skipping over Spider-Man 2 until something gets figured out. I got decades worth of backlog to get through, before I even were to start thinking about Spider-Man. So
yeah,
hopefully before then we can reach some kind of agreement. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna agree with you. Yeah, it is surprising because a lot of these are just third-party developers, or companies that work with others, like Formosa Interactive. I looked up, and they've worked with everyone. Like they do art and audio design stuff, like concept stuff and art and audio stuff for companies. So they worked on God of War and Last of Us Part 2, but then they also worked on like Ori and the Will of the Wisp and Borderlands 3, Call of Duty. So it's like most of these are third-party companies, and then like seeing Insomniac is like, no way, like really, like I don't know, it's so sad because it's like you would hope that in general like first-party studios would be better, maybe not 100% dialed in, but better than some of these other companies. But to see Insomniac next to Activision, which we already know Activision Blizzard is a mess. Like
I wasn't even thinking about
that's kind of like an of course they're on that list. But to see Insomniac, it's like, whoa, really? Like, what is going on? Like, what's the deal with that? It doesn't make sense. Like EA, it's like, oh yeah, of course, they Epic, WB Games, okay, but
especially because a lot of the demands aren't crazy at all. Like having medics on set for stunt workers. How do you not already have that? What are you talking about?
That seems like a pretty
So if I break my arm, I got to get up, I got to drive all the way to the hospital. Hope I don't pass out or go into shock because of the pain. What?
That's is there a list somewhere of the demands?
Of the demands? I forgot where I read it at. I can try to pull it up if you want to give your thoughts on the situation.
I mean, we don't need to go too deep in it here on the. Either way, my opinions is the same. Where obviously we're gonna stand with. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I stand with the workers, obviously, and I mean, you already said the same. Like, they need to have good working conditions, safe working conditions, and be paid appropriately because. Like especially, I'm like in the Verge article, I mentioned the even like use of AI and stuff like that, like taking their jobs essentially. That's no good. Like, I mean, AI can have its places, but what I've learned in the industry that I'm in, it's a great tool. In
any industry,
but it's like a tool still needs, someone to use it. There still needs to be like. A worker who knows how to use that tool, and it's to think that a hammer can just go build a house on its own kind of thing, like that's not going to happen. So it's sad against, like you said, right off the heels of this other strike that's gone down with writers and actors and stuff. You'd think they'd be like, all right, like let's just get this done and over with, because I'm sure that had a huge effect on movie studios not being able to work on their films for months. What's that, like 4 months or whatever? And to think that all of a sudden it's like this could be happening with the video game industry now, where it goes 4 or 5 months with like everything's just put on hold, like doesn't sound ideal. Like in my head, it's like, why wouldn't you be like, yeah, let's give you guys better working conditions? Like, you're still going to make millions. You're still going to make millions of dollars off your game,
Yeah, but they won't make millions and millions. You know what I mean? I found it here. Some of the demands, or basically the summary of the demands, is an immediate 11% raise, with 4% raises during the length of the contract, which I'm assuming is probably over like a couple of years. And then medical staff on site for mocap performers and stunt workers, and protections against the use of artificial intelligence technology. So no using it for voice actors, no using it to replace mocap. You can use it to enhance mocap, but not to replace it.
Right.
That an actor could have done.
Right. So this is more, it seems to be,
basics.
Thanks for that clarification, because now I'm realizing, so this is more even like focused just on the actors themselves, not necessarily even developers and stuff like that, which, I mean, still.
It's crazy because I think developers should be right behind them.
Developers should be 100% right there, right behind them. But, I don't know. Well, hopefully, I hope they can get this resolved sooner than later, because, again, like these people deserve more, that's for sure. Like some of these, to think that, because I know like there's a general misconception that there is like people who voice act or do acting like mocap for games and stuff like this. No, they're not the same as Hollywood actors, like they're not on the same levels, but the talent, like there's just as much, just as much, if not more in some cases, with like the things like, oh yeah, you don't just act out a scene once. Like now you have to go act out a scene a bajillion times for mocap. First you do the voice, and you got to go on and act it. It's like, holy cow, like it's hard work, you know. It's
stepping into a voice acting booth or voiceover booth for multiple hours throughout a day, doing the same take over and over, and you have to be at 100 every time you do it, no matter what the line is.
Yeah, and just even being able to, because I noticed like getting paid to streaming rights, because a lot of games are streaming now. How does that work? Like, do they count those numbers up? So yeah, that's kind of an interesting even thing that they're trying to like figure out now with with this contract. Like, hey, like now that games are being streamed and are on Game Pass and stuff like that, I'm sure it's like, are we getting paid per download then, per stream? Like, how does that look? And like
Unity's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, Unity's taking the developers' money that way. Why can't we get money that way? So hopefully this is they can work this out speedily. It's not too drawn out, because video games are cool, and I just want people to keep making cool video games, but I also want them to be paid appropriately and treated appropriately, fairly.
Be able to live.
So, not have to worry about, getting injured on set and then not having a doctor on set. Like, that sounds wild.
I always thought that was a thing. That's crazy to me that it's not a thing.
I know, that seems like a no-brainer, but all right. Oh, man.
You're asking these people to do stunts. What are you talking about?
Yeah, imagine the people. I just imagine, like, fighting game stunt people, doing mocap for that. It's like, right. Granted, they're not actually like kicking and punching each other, but I'm sure
turn the wrong way, land on something. Yeah,
accidents happen. Someone lands and like after a flip and sprains an ankle. It's like, well, all right. What do you do? Oh man. Hophead says, can we use AI to fill in for JJ? Yeah, we can do that because we're not part of SAG-AFTRA, so we can completely replace them. It's totally fine.
You know what I did see in iPhones? You can make that voice assistant thing, like you were saying.
I did it.
You did? Maybe we can somehow get JJ to do it.
He needs to get an iPhone first.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he's living in 2012.
He won't get one. He loves his Motorola, whatever, knockoff Android thing he's been running.
His phone he got for about $50 at Walmart.
It's like, dude, come on, get an iPhone. He refuses. He's like, I like it. I'm like, no, you don't. No one says they will.
It's Stockholm syndrome. You're used to it. That's what it is.
Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.